Okay. All right. We are live. All right. I see there's three people already. Awesome. Okay. Wait a couple minutes for everybody to come on. Uh, I want to welcome you to tonight's late night live. Okay, this one's a little later than usual. Right now it's like 10:34 on the East Coast. Where I'm, or no, 12:34 on the East Coast. Where I'm at, it's 10:34. Uh, California, it's about 9:30. Um, Welcome to tonight's live. I want to do a part two to my video. Hey Winnie, how's it going? Uh, to my video of interracial marriage, opening up your options, and it's part two of the other show I did, where it was talking about is marriage for white people and uh, the Stanford law professor. I think his name's Mr. Banks. Forget his first name, but anyway, I'm doing a part two on that, and there's a black couple that is debunking what he's saying, and I just thought it'd be interesting to watch that, and you guys can have your opinions on it. I'll have mine, and it's real interesting. And this was done, I think it was like 11 years ago. It was done some time back, and the book was controversial, and what he was explaining is marriage and stuff and how it affects us, and asking the question, is it for white people? Because it seems like white people get married more. Marriage right now in today's world a lot of times isn't successful. um some people value marriage more than others. I really value it. um I think there's no other way that we should live but to get married and have families, and do it God's way. But before I get into that, what I want to talk about, well, before I get into that, tomorrow I'm going to be leaving. I'm flying into North Carolina tomorrow, and I'm going to be meeting up with my son Monday, and we're going to be taking a road trip back to New Mexico, and it's quite a ways, almost 1,800 miles. We're going to be traveling, and I'm going to be I'll be doing some live streams in between. I'm going to try to do it with my phone. We'll see how that works. um yeah, I'm going to take my time. We're going to have a fun time. This is going to be a fun trip. It's going to be a slow trip. We're not going to try to make it all in one day or something crazy like that. So it'll be a few days on the road. um I'll be traveling with my son. It's just going to be me and my son. um and we're going to stop, and I'm going to see my oldest daughter and my granddaughter and stuff. So she lives in Kansas City, so we'll have a fun time. It'll be a fun trip, and I would like to live stream for that, and but we'll see how that goes. But anyway, tonight's show I'm going to be talking about interracial marriage, opening up your options. Okay, um, and I'm going to be showing you guys a video. It's part two of the other video I did of interracial marriage, opening up your options. And I do believe we all should open up our options or have that option button. Okay. And a lot of times, due to stereotypes, generalization, race loyalty, we assume certain people are a certain way. And sometimes we don't get to know those people, and we could be missing out on a blessing, you know, being with a future wife or husband. And, I think character and garbage comes in all colors, and that's why we got a vet. And, you know, I say character over color. Okay. Finding a quality person, it's what's in the heart and how they conduct themselves and how much they love you. You want the best option, right? We all do, and we should. And Women should open up their options. Um, Men should too. Hey, Carolyn, how's it going? Deanna, good to see you. Ella Rose, Winnie, good to see you guys. Sorry this live is so late, but you know, I got off work super late tonight, and I got to fly in the morning. I'm leaving to North Carolina about 8:30 in the morning. Um, so after this show, I'm going to be packing and getting ready for that, and it's going to be a long day. I gotta fly to Dallas and get a connecting flight, and then off to Raleigh, North Carolina. And then Monday morning, me and my son will be driving back home. And, he's going to be home on leave for a while, and I got some vacation. So we're going to have a good time. And I'm looking so forward to that. And I want to do some live streams and maybe show some videos of the sites we get to see and share that with you guys. Okay. But anyway, I wanted to do this live tonight before I fly out tomorrow. And hi, Tony Keaton. Good to see you from Pennsylvania. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, but it's going to be a long day, and I wanted to get a live in before I leave tomorrow. And I'm going to do a prayer meeting Sunday too. I'm going to try to do a quick one and talk to you guys a little bit and ask you guys for prayers for our trip for me and my son. And we will be safe. We'll be taking it slow. Hopefully, you don't hit no storms. Um, what North Carolina to Kansas City, we could hit some weather. It's possible. Looking at the weather, it looks pretty clear next few days. But we'll be cautious about that. If it gets real bad, we'll just head down south and go the southern route back home. But anyway, by the book. Thank you very much. Um, anyway, let me put this disclaimer before I show the video. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, this is the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for the purpose such as criticism. Okay, we'll have a little criticism, comment. Most definitely have some comment. News reporting. Um, we're going to use some of CNN's news reporting on this story. Teaching, we can learn something from this. Scholarship, research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit education, personal use tips of the balance, favor for the fair use. Okay. We're going to be using this video for education, for stats, for opinion. Okay. And as we watch this, you guys can get your opinions on this. I've showed this video before. I've shown it before, and it's a good video. And the Stanford law professor, the other video I was showing on that, this goes with it. And there's a black couple on there that debunks what he's saying, that don't agree with his book and his analogy on that black women should date out, open up their options. And I think the Stanford law professor has a good point. He's looking at numbers. And, he's looking at it like, for all black women, the be in a loving relationship, have a family, have marriage, and all that stuff. He's saying they should open up their options. And I agree. That's not to put nobody down. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game. And ladies, you should go for the best option. And a lot of times in society, what's happening now is black women are, you know, upgrading their education, you know, moving up in the corporate world, being very successful. And his point is they should be with someone at their level. And I agree. I think rather than be race loyal is be with someone at your level, at your economic level, especially for women. Women need to be with a man at their level or higher. Women really do need to practice hypergamy, and us as men, we need to be with women at our level or a little bit lower. Okay. Us as men, we don't practice hypergamy. We pull ourselves up, we pull our wives and our families up with them. That's the way it should be. It's not always the way people do things, but that's my opinion on that. Um, so I think when we date and marry, we should be at our own economic level. I think so. And especially for men, it's really important because naturally we're supposed to be the providers. We feel more like a man when we are providing. I mean, that's the honest truth. You know, some men do look for women to take care of them or that got more resources than them. But naturally, as a man, I think we need to be the providers. Um, Now, not all relationships are like that way, but traditionally, that's the way it's been. Um, but anyway, let me go ahead and show this video, and I'll stop it in between, and you guys can put your comments. Uh, Mindset is extremely how men. Yeah. Um, I'm going to show this video, and then I'll stop it in between, and I'll talk about it. And you guys can put your comments in the comment section, whether you agree with the Stanford Law professor or the couple in there on their opinions on this. My opinion is you know we should open up our options, and all of us, because there are awesome people of all racial groups. There really are, and a lot of times we don't find that out. And I've heard black women say that they never even thought of going with a white guy because they always thought we were crazy or something was wrong with us, and all the conditioning and the propaganda and stuff. And later on, women have found out that we're not all like that. Some of us are good men. Some of us have love for black women, which I do. Um, and some people said, "Well, you're an anomaly. You're different." There, it not really. There are a lot of men that think like I do that have preference for black women. Uh, Not a lot of white men will say that openly. They just live their life and do it. Me, I'll tell you. Um, I have no problem telling you what I think. I have no problem telling you how I feel about black women. Um, I've been married to one for over 27 years, so I have love and respect for black women. Um, I'm living it. I'm talking about it. Um, and I have no problem doing that. Not all men will do that, but a lot of men are looking towards black women because we're starting to see how successful black women, how loving they are. Um, and one thing I like about black women is they're direct. I love, that they are direct. And I think more us as people should be more direct and honest with people. I mean, we really should. And when I talk to other men that are interested in dating black women, I always tell them, be direct, go and let her know you're interested, but be respectful, you know. Um, and I've heard black women, and the reason I say that is black women have told me that that's what they want. Um, and there's a cultural thing that adds a little confusion. And a lot of times us as white men, we're kind of standoffish. We kind of um are cautious because we don't want to offend you. We don't want you thinking that we're there trying to fetishize you, or that we're coming for you for some other alternative issue. Okay, we want those of us that have love for you. We want you to know that we love you and we want to be with you, not that we're just it's a desire or a fetishization or a experience. Okay, because we've been given that title a lot of times. So a lot of times white men are cautious because they hear people saying that's what we're like, and we don't want to be seen as that. So sometimes we might be a little reluctant to. you know, talk to you guys. And we shouldn't be that way. We should be direct. I think it's uh more you'll be more successful if you're direct and just be honest. But do it respectfully. Um and that would be my advice to other men that are seeking the date, marry black women. Um but you guys can tell me what you think on that. I mean, I say be forward, be respectful, and just be honest. And two, that you're not wasting your time. If she's not interested in you, you know right away. If she is, then you know. But anyway, but I could get off into all kinds of stuff. But I'm gonna put this video up here, and I'll be stopping in between, guys. And you tell me what you think, and I'll tell you my opinion on this also. Okay, let me add this to the stream.
All right, in today's What Matters report, is marriage for white people?
Okay, I just want to give a shout out to CNN, HLN for this news reporting and this story. It's very educational, and there'll be some stats on there too. And coming from the '60s till today's world, and I think this was like 11 years ago. But anyway, let's go ahead.
People. That's the question being asked by an author of a new book. Is marriage for white people? How the African American marriage decline affects everyone. It's got a lot of people talking right now. Stanford law professor Ralph Richard Banks.
Okay, she said in the book it says how the African American marriage affects us all. What do you guys think? Does it affect us all? The African American community, their success in marriage? Or does it just affect that community? Uh, they said that. I would say it affects society as a whole. I think marriage in every community affects us all. It does. Because, if we have a stable marriage, usually our children come up in a stable environment. They have both parents that love them, care for them, and they have a better chance in life. Studies have shown. So a marriage affects us all, regardless if we're living in the same neighborhood or not, or regardless of what race we are. I truly believe that the more of us that are married, the better off we are. But I just wanted to make that point. But anyway, let's continue.
Says it's time for black women to, this is a quote, give up the good fight on marrying a black man. Here he is.
The way I think of that is that women have been asked to carry a great load. Black women shoulder a lot of the burden, in short, of black men's struggles. And I am asking women to put the burden down. Many women think that they're attracted to black men. They are attracted to black men. But attraction itself is complicated. And one of the things that I discovered in the course of writing this book is that there's a whole host of fears and desires and anxieties that animate black women's attraction to black men.
Okay, Banks recently wrote an article in the Wall Street Journal and said that 70% of black women aren't married. That's roughly true. Okay, so is it time for single, educated, and...
Okay, so he wrote an article. He wrote an article. Law professor Ralph Banks, that 70% of black women are not married. Is that true? I've heard that stat. I've seen it actually in Pew Research. That stat, that 70%, and I've also seen it where black people get married later on in life too. Black women do. So maybe that stat is a little skewed. I don't know, but I've heard 70% do not get married. And when I first heard that stat, I thought it was a lie. I was like, there ain't no way. But apparently it's true. And a lot of that is because there's more women, black women than black men. Black men date and marry out 2 to 3 times as much as black women. So I could see where that would kind of go that way. And a lot of people ain't getting married like they used to. People are having children out of wedlock more often now than ever, of all races. So that makes it a little bit more believable. But 70% to me, that's unacceptable. That's something that shouldn't be happening. Hey, Selma, how you doing? You know, 70%, it should be 70% are married. And I think in the 60s and 70s it was that way. It was the total opposite. Um, but anyway, let's continue.
Now, working black women to just forget the notion of marrying a black man and look outside their race. A new Gallup poll shows more and more people are receptive to the idea of interracial marriage. In 1968, the numbers were quite low for whites approving of interracial marriage.
Okay, 1968. Look at those stats. Okay, people that approve of interracial marriage, white people 17%. Oh my God. Black people, they're more for it, 56%. And I would say that's true. When me and my wife got married, from my experiences, black people were more accepting than white people. Um, they just were. And I think they are a little bit more now. I think now more people are more accepting of interracial marriages. Of course, they are more than 1968. Okay, so only 17 of white people approved back then. 56% of black people approved. So more than half. Interesting, right? But yeah, I believe that. That is true. Let's continue.
This is a Gallup poll from USA Today, but today those numbers skyrocketed for both blacks and whites. So does the author have a point?
Okay, so let me stop it there. Now today, and this was 11 years ago, I believe. So 83% of white people approve. That's jump from 17%. Okay, so it's moving in the right direction with interracial marriage with white people. Black people in 68 was what, 56? Now 96. Okay, that's some good news, right? People are more accepting of interracial marriages, according to the USA Today Gallup poll. Okay, and that's not saying that's all people in the percentage. It's a sample. It's a poll, but it's moving in the right direction. You know, more people are more accepting. Interracial marriages is becoming more of a norm, and it should. Um, you know, 10, 20 years down the road, it might not be such a big deal, you know, for a white man and black woman to get married and be less haters. It'll become more of a norm. Um, but you know, it's been trending the right way. 1968, you would have had problems in an interracial marriage more so than you would today. And you know, so that is some good news. But there's always still haters. There's always people against it. Let's continue.
Is the black marriage nearly obsolete? Is the idea just for white people? Have a black couple here who says, hello, I'm right here, joining us more.
Okay, let me stop it there. Do you think white? Do you think marriage is for white people? More white people get married than black people, statistically, but our marriages are garbage. More than, I think, a little bit more than half end in divorce. So I mean, we need to work on marriage across the board in all communities. But anyway, let's hear what this couple has to say.
To talk about this.
I mean,
Obsolete? Is the idea just for white people? Have a black couple here who says, hello, I'm right here. Joining us more to talk about this is Lamar and Ronnie Tyler, bloggers for Black and Married with Kids. All right, Tylers, I guess my first question is, what is your reaction to what you have just heard? A lot of people have been talking about this.
I just think the book is dangerous, and it's sending a dangerous message.
Dangerous?
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely think it is just perpetuating all of the negative stereotypes that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And now is the time for black people to come together and to work together, not to look.
okay, let me stop it there. Do you think that book is dangerous? I do you think what the Stanford law professor is saying? I haven't read the book. I think I'm going to though. I'd like to hear what it says, but from what he's saying, to me it makes sense. Black women need to open up their options because if 70% aren't getting married, uh, why would you be waiting around? I mean, 70%. They say, well, 1 out of 4 black women get married. So what about the 3/4 that ain't? What are they supposed to do? I would say open up your options. If you're in a group that only 30% is going to marry you, open up the options. Then your value goes up because there's more men competing for you. You don't just have black men competing for you, in which there's less of them. So it turns around that women are competing for the men. So wouldn't you rather have the men competing for you? I mean, women are the prize. I think men should compete for women, not the other way around. Choosing better. The book is not dangerous. She, she's not being honest. Well, I don't think it's dangerous. I think everybody open up your options. And 70% is way too high. That's unacceptable. Um, I say, you know, till we get to the 90%, it's going to be unacceptable, in my opinion. But let's hear what she has to say.
Look outside of our community for the answers.
Dangerous how so? And I want you to answer this because he seems to be putting a lot of negativity out there on black men.
Sure. Well, I think what he's done is created a perfect mechanism to sell books, but not so much to help African American women.
All right.
And I think, that's he's portraying this like this is some type of help tool for them, but not at all. I think anytime when you say that one entire group of people, specifically based on race, is bad and another group is good, then it doesn't make any sense at all. It's not helping anybody. Instead, the conversation should be if there are problems in the African American community, how can we uplift the community? What can we do to show them that marriage is positive, to show them that parenting is positive and where it's at? Instead of, making notions like these that basically just get you on TV in the media all the time and allow you to sell books.
Well, because...
Okay, let me stop there. What do you guys think? Is the Stanford law professor just trying to sell books and, just trying to make money? I mean, I'm sure he wants to make money, but is he making a good point, or is he just, it's a dangerous book? Is he just trying to put black men down? I mean, he's a black man married to a black woman. Or is he just looking at the numbers and just seeing what would be better for black women as a whole, to have more options, to have more choices? What do you think? I'm sure there's both opinions going, and I'm sure Professor Ralph Banks, I'm sure he's gotten some hate. I'm sure he's got some haters out there that don't like his book and don't like what he's saying. But there's some people that agree with him. I agree with what he's saying. And look, if 70% of black women ain't getting married, they need to open up their options. And us men of different races need to invest in black women. We need to, open up our options also. I think so. Black women are amazing. And I tell people about black women, how I have love for them, how I'm married to a black woman, how special they are, and how I feel about them. And there's people out there that try to debunk me. Like, I had a conversation with a guy at work, a black guy, saying, how can you say that your marriage is better than other marriages? And my reply is more than 27 years. How many people have that? So, I mean, you look at the evidence. Look at what's going on. And I can say that about black women. I could say they are the best choice. I could say they're great mothers. I could say they're awesome because I got a wife to prove it. All my kids are college educated, and my wife has a big impact in that. And, my wife's been loyal to me. We've been married over 27 years. May will hit 28 years. So they are the best choice, and I can prove it. Does that mean that all black women are perfect? No group of women is perfect, but black women are the best choice from the stats I see and my experiences. And people tell me, well, why are you interested in black women? Did white women break your heart? Did they do something to you? Are you self-hating? No white woman has broken my heart, because they haven't had access to it. Black women have broke my hearts quite a few times because they have access to my heart, because that's where my heart is. That is my preference. That it always has been. And people say, "Well, why are you that way?" Well, cuz I'm that way. That's me. I chose my path, you know? And I have had my heart broken. Yes. I have been rejected. Yes. But you know what? For the love I felt from black women that love me, it's been a blessing. And there's been a few black women that could have been a good wife to me, but it didn't work out. Um, but I see the special qualities that black women carry. You know, and I tell people this, I tell other men this. When you feel a love from a black woman, you don't want no other love. And most men that I talk to, well, not most, all that are interested in black women, that's all they want to be with. I mean, not all. Some men will date everybody, but men that have love for black women, that's all they want. That's all I ever wanted. And nothing wrong with that. And we all have a preference. Um, but anyway, I'm getting off into other things, telling you how I feel. But I don't think this book is dangerous. I think everybody that wants to be married should be married. I think every man and woman should have the opportunity to be married, have a family, be loved, and live their best life with the best option. And I don't think women should date down or lower their standards. I think they should go, where they're equally yoked. I think they should go where they're more appreciated. Um, I don't think it's dangerous. You're gonna make your own choice anyway, right? It's your life. So choose the best choice. Whatever your choice is, it's up to you. Let's continue.
Some of the numbers that he put out there are true. A white woman is twice as likely to get married as a black woman. Some of what he is saying is true, is what you take exception to, what you say are solutions that aren't actually solutions. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Solutions that are not actually solutions. So if it's true, let's get down to why it's true and bring forth real solutions for the black community.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think, interracial dating is fine. I think who you fall in love with is who you fall in love with. But again, when you say this group of people, in this particular instance, which is black men, are bad and you shouldn't be with them. And I think the craziest thing about all of this is the fact that he's married to a black woman. So what if she took his own advice? They wouldn't be married now.
So what you're saying is, okay, let me make sure.
Okay, that was interesting what he just said, right? So do you think what he's saying, that if his wife took the advice that she would leave him? Is he saying that all black men are bad? I don't think I got that at all. I just think he's looking at the numbers. I think he's looking at percentages. I don't think he said don't marry a black man. I think he's just saying that 70% of black women ain't getting married, so they need to open up the options. That's what I got out of it. I don't think the law professor was actually trying to tell women not to be with the men in their community. I think he was saying, "Hey, open up your options because you have more of a chance of getting married. You have more of a chance of being in a loving relationship." And the numbers play out. There's more black women than black men. It just is what it is. Black men, are the biggest swirlers. I think black men and Asian women, they're the ones dating and marrying out more than anybody. So, so why wouldn't black women open up their options? I mean, logically, they'd have to, right? If everybody wants to get married, and I think a lot of times people don't get married because the man don't want to get married. I think more women want to get married than men. I believe that to be true from what I'm seeing. Black men swirl 3 times. And it's kind of funny. They do more so than black, but they have they don't like it when black women date and marry out, do they? And I'm not saying all, some could care less. But from what I'm seeing, the swirling gone wrong videos, and you know what's interesting is I never see it where I always see it where it's a black woman and white man. I never see it where it's a black man and white woman. Surely it could go bad either way, right? And I don't want to see it go bad anyway. I hope all the marriages are successful. I support marriage with black men and white women like I do white men and black women. I think, hey, be with who you want to be with your preference, be with the option you want. But when you do that, don't disrespect other women. I have a preference for black women. Black women is the only group of women I wanted to date or marry, but I never went out and attacked white women. Why would I do that? Or any other group of women? They just I happen to have a preference, and I'll tell you why. And it's not just the looks. It's just a lot deeper than that. And I tell you guys that. And I'm being honest. And nobody can debunk me because I've been married for several years. So, you know, it, over 27 years, it ain't a fetish. It ain't lust. Lust and fetishes don't last that long. If that's what it's built on, it would have been destroyed long ago. You know. But, yeah, there's always gaslighting towards black women for some reason. Um, but right now in today's world, the biggest attacked group of interracial couples is black women and white men. It just is. I mean, if I went on this channel and made a channel that uplifted Asian women, nobody would care. But black women, somehow, I'm not supposed to do that. I don't know. But anyway, let's continue. Sorry, guys.
He's saying look outside of your race because there's a problem with your race, as opposed to just be with whoever you choose to be with, regardless of what their race is. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's this two-part thing.
Okay.
Part of it is that, and part of it is this thing about the black man being so bad, just perpetuating these continual stereotypes that we've had now for generations and generations. And the problem becomes when you have people in communities that don't see marriage every day, that don't see those positive images of marriage portrayed, they start to believe things like this. When they see books and they see movies and they see different things, telling that marriage is for white people, they start to actually get that into their conscience, and then that passes down from generation to generation.
Because there are plenty of positive images of black marriages out there. I mean, we've got the Obamas. I mean,
exactly.
There's Will and Jada. If you don't believe all that tabloid mess is out there.
Right.
An interracial couple. There's Iman and David Oye. There's lots of positive images out there if you choose to see them.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we're doing with our website, trying to actually build upon those positive images. Because if you don't see it, then maybe you don't think it's possible to be that. And so
Okay, so are those positive images of black couples? The Obama's been married several years. You got to give it to them. I think the Obamas they've been married once, several years. What do you think about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett? They've had some issues. I think they are in an open marriage and some crazy stuff going on. But anyway, I mean, there are positive images out there. What do you guys think? Do you think that the reason black community marriages there ain't that many of them because of society, because of the crazy professor's book putting out stuff out there that people just believe it and go with it? Or do you think it's just a choice they make? And in the collective, they're not making a decision to get married. They'd rather date and just have relationships without marriage. What do you think? I mean, people can get married, and I'm pretty sure, and I believe this. You tell me what you think. I think there's plenty of black women that would love to be married. within the community. But some reason the marriages are low. I think women do want marriage more than men. I do, of all races. For some reason, men they get caught up in dating different women. They don't see the blessing in marriage of being with one woman that loves you, that's going to be always there for you. I think people get. I think men get caught up in lust and pride, and uh, they think it's manly to be with many different women instead of being with one. Uh, I don't know. That's what I think. But let's continue.
Very important to have those images.
Yeah, and it's just an example. We do documentaries.
There's an interracial marriage, David Bowie and Iman. Interracial marriages are successful with black women, white men, very much so. Um, and we're seeing it across the board, all economic levels of interracial marriages. And it's funny. I got in a discussion, and some guy was saying, "Well, you don't really know black women because you come from a middle class white neighborhood, and so does your wife." And I just thought, I'm like, that was weird. Aren't black women regardless of their economic status? I've known black women that are wealthy, that are middle class, that are lower class, just like different groups of white people. We're all, um, depending on the choices we make and our success in life, we end up in different economic levels, you know. But anyway, let me continue.
My second documentary, You Saved Me, 8 couples, African American couples from newlywed over 50 years. We premiered it in D.C., sold out over 540 seats in advance of the screening. They had to put up folding chairs down the aisle, like to say, like church on Easter Sunday. And these people, we're not Spike Lee and Tanya Lewis Lee. They didn't know us by name recognition, but that's how hungry in our community we are for positive images of us.
All right. I got to say, when we started talking about this in our morning meeting, some of the single white women in our meeting raised their hand and said, "It's tough for everybody."
Exactly.
It was a good conversation. Actually,
Thank
it was a good moment cross racial lines. So I like that. It's a great conversation as well. Remind people what your blog is again.
blackandmarriedwithkids.com.
I love it. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for the conversation. Let's remind people, too, what matters is a partnership with Essence Magazine that gives us a chance to look at issues in the African-American community that affects everybody. This is a topic that affects all of us. You can grab the October issue featuring First Lady Michelle Obama on the cover. Pick up the latest issue or just go to Essence.
Okay. So, I would give a shout out to HLN. That was a good news segment. A lot to think about. The Stanford law professor, his opinion, his book, and what he was saying, and this couple here, their opinion. He thinks black women should open up their options, date out, because of the marriage rates, and to find love. He thinks that's what they should do. Now, this couple thinks his book is dangerous. The man was saying that he thinks it's an attack on black men. And I think they both think it's an attack on the black community. What do you guys think? Do you think it's an attack? Do you think it's dangerous, or do you think he's just telling the truth? Is it logical? I mean, 70% is huge. I think in the white communities, like 64% of white women get married from the age of 25 to 52 or something. And then black women, it's like 30% or something crazy like that. And I think it's just because there's more men than women, and in the black community, there's more black women than black men. And black men are the ones that swirl the most, the ones that date out the most. So it creates an imbalance. And the men that stick around, well, they get the better choice with the black women. And black women are race loyal. Some black women will say, no, it's not so much we're race loyal as we're scared to date out. Or we've been told that, other men are a certain way, especially white men, that they're more violent, that they just out to fetishize us, that they just want to live fantasy, or they don't see, you know. I've heard that many times, and I've heard women say that they'll only be with black men because black men understand the struggle they go through, and white men don't understand what they go through. And that's true. Us as white men, we don't know what a black woman goes through. Yeah, a black man probably knows more about it, but just because he knows it, does that mean he cares about you? There's men out there that will hook up with single women that have kids and live off their resources. Of course, they know the struggle the woman's going through with being a single mother, but some of them don't care, you know? So I always debunk that when people say, well, they understand. Well, they might understand, but that don't mean they care about it, and the guy that don't understand, if he did, maybe he'd understand, maybe he'd care, you know? Hey, Mark, how's it going? Good to see you, brother. Private email, JG, Michael Ray, good to see you. Alexander, Brandon, good to see you. Melanin Woman Speaks, good to see you. Karen W, Cindy D. Just want to say hi to you guys. Single Vortex. But what do you guys think about this video? Was it, who is right? Was it the law professor? Was it the couple? Or are they both, do they both have good points? And is the couple maybe not seeing what the professor's talking about, and they just want, black people to have a positive image? I think we all want to have a positive image. None of us want to look bad. Hey, Cindy D, you know, I think go for the best option. And I would say to you ladies, go for the man that can provide for you, that loves you. And you know, um it might be a man of a different color. It might be a white guy, might be an Asian, might be, a Hispanic guy, or there's so many out there. There's billions of people in this world. And you know what? We can find love in any color. We sure can. I did. And I've been telling people, I've been floating this word investment, you know, and I kind of got the idea because I hear black women talking about divesting. Okay. Well, I would say investing, like a guy like me that, has a preference for black women, loves black women, sees the value in black women. That's what I've invested in. My wife is my investment. I came to her with my heart and all that I am, and all that I have, you know, to have a relationship and a marriage with her. That's my investment. And I believe that the biggest investment is who you marry. Do you think, choosing the right wife or the wrong one can affect you in your life? Heartbreak or being happy? Even your financial situation, you know? Having a good wife that understands that can you can be successful financially, spiritually, with love. Um, you know, so marriage is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make for both us men and women. Yeah, go for the one that values you and treats you well. And you know what? Don't listen to that propaganda. Don't listen to those stereotypes and generalizations. Get to know that person. We'll find out that, a lot of that's just BS. I found out about black women long ago that the stereotype that Hollywood puts out there is not what I'm seeing. Now they're starting to put out more truthful images about black women being educated, being in the corporate world, you know? That's the truth. That's what I'm seeing. You know, but there's people trying to stop black women from dating out, from marrying out. And to me, I look at it as abuse because if the men are dating out and doing what they want to, how can you tell the women not to? How can I have a black wife and get mad at or get mad at a white woman for marrying a black guy? How can I do that? Wouldn't I be a hypocrite? Right? So if black men can date out and marry out women of different races, why can't the women do it? Why can't black women do it? Wouldn't that make them a hypocrite if they get mad at them doing it, but they're doing it? I mean, and I'm not saying all, people are going to send me hate. Oh, no, they're not all like that. Well, you can't say all. Of course not. But for what I'm seeing, I mean, seems that people get upset when black women open up their options. And I've seen people tear down black women and then get mad at them when they date out, marry out. I don't know. Seems unfair to me. It seems wrong. You know, but I would say to men, look at the black woman. Look at her. I mean, see what black women have to offer. Black women have the biggest hearts. They really do. They look out for you more than they do themselves. I've seen it. I've experienced that. My wife's like that. My wife will do anything in the world for me and do without. And I have to watch her doing that because I don't want her to do without. That's my job as a man. I'm supposed to sacrifice for her. But black women have a big heart. They love you. They're going to be there for you. They're going to do everything they can for you. That's how they are. Black women are direct. And that's why I tell men, when you're going approach a black woman, you want to date her, approach her and do it. Tell her what your intentions are, but be respectful about it. You find out that goes a long way. I noticed when I was a teenager and wanted to date black women, I found out that when I just started being honest and direct, there was more success. And of course you get rejected right away, but then you know where you stand. Um, you know, I like that about black women. They're direct. Usually they're honest, more so than other women. Um, you know, and black women are loyal. They love you and you give them love. And you know what I found out is that with black women, that if you show them love and respect, you get it back more so than what you give. And I see that with my wife. I see that with black women that I'm friends with. Just showing them love and respect. I don't know why people don't see this stuff. I don't know why some people think I'm crazy when I talk. I'm speaking truth. I'm speaking from experiences. You know, I can give a compliment to a black woman or an Asian woman or white woman. Most likely, black women are going, be more loving and respectful from what you're telling them. They're going to show you more of positive energy from it. You know, but black men hate dark skin. I start the I kind of believe that in a way. Um, and this colorism thing, I never even knew that exists till I married my wife and I started seeing that stuff. And it seems kind of ironic. It seems weird. But you know what? I'll tell you this about me and most white guys I know. We don't even notice black women's skin tone. We don't even think about it. I never did till it was pointed out to me. I just thought black women were beautiful. I didn't even think about, oh, she's light, she's dark, she's this. I didn't. eh, I thought I didn't even think about that till it was pointed out. It's crazy. But you know what? Us as white men, 98% of us love dark skinned women. We do. You know? Um, my wife's real dark complected. And I don't see why, you know, other black people find that problematic. That's weird to me. Uh, but anyway, sorry guys, I'm kind of getting tired, late day, but some people think I'm crazy. Some people think I'm kind of weird because I speak highly of black women because I give them praise. But look at my life. If you see my life story, you'd understand why I do this. And there's enough hate going out. Why can't I show love? Why can't I show a positive aspect? You know, when people say, "Do you really think that about black women?" Well, look who I'm married to. Look how long I've been married. Uh, I don't know why some people can't see that, but anyway, uh, you are biased. Well, yeah, I am biased. I'll admit it. When it comes to women, I'm biased towards black women. That's my preference. That's the women I've been attracted to my whole life. That's the women I want to be with. That's the woman I married. That's where my heart is. That's where, yeah, I'm biased. And you know what? When I finally, there was a time when I was dating, and I mostly dated, I dated black women exclusively. There was a time I dated two white women because someone told me I was biased. Someone told me that, it's not right what you're doing, and I kind of bought into that, and I said, you know what? Why am I? a- And I dated two white women that didn't even work out. My heart wasn't in it, and I just decided to be honest. You know what? I am biased. You know what? I favor one group of women over the other. I am. It's the truth. And when it comes to dating and marriage, there ain't no equal opportunity when it comes to different women. It's black women exclusively. It's black women. That's all I've wanted. That's all I'm with. That's all I want to marry. That's all I wanted to date. And when I finally admitted that to myself and lived the life I want to live, I was more happy. And there's no hate towards any other women. That's a preference. And a preference is being biased. It is. It's favoring one over the other, you know? And everybody's allowed to do that. And I say, you have a preference, go with that preference. You don't need to tear other women down because you have a preference. Just be happy with the path you choose. Black women are so beautiful. I wouldn't want any. I agree with that. I don't want any other. I never wanted any other woman. Being biased is not a right or wrong. I think it's right because I'm happy. I'm happy with my bias. I'm happy with it. But I'm with the woman I want to be with. So I'm happy. And you know what? When I married my wife, I said my marriage vows, and I said I would forsake all others for my wife. And that's what we're supposed to do. So when you're married, you're biased. No other woman can compare to your wife when you're married. Or it should be that way. I don't know. Some people don't take their vows seriously. But that'd be a form of bias. No one's better than my wife. I hold my wife higher than any other woman, which I should because that's my wife, right? But yeah, I'm biased. I'll admit it. I'm so biased. When you ask me who's the most beautiful woman in the world, it's black women. They are the best. They're my preference. I don't want. You know what? You know, I don't want to be with any other woman than black women. Just saying. You know, and I'm married. I'm with one woman only, and you know, I'm never getting married again. You know, and if something were to happen to my wife, I wouldn't. And if I did, it would be a black woman. It wouldn't be nothing else. Um, Nor you have a question? Does somebody have a question for me? Hey, if you guys have a question, put it in caps so I'll see it. Being biased is not right or wrong. Being biased is awesome because I'm with who I want to be with. Oh, you're doing a show with hashtag black woman? Black women? Or black woman, sorry. All right, Saturday, Mark? Next Saturday? Okay, you guys, hey, look at that. He's going to do a live with hashtag black woman. I'll tune in and check that out. I'd like to see that live. And you guys check out Loren's channel, hashtag black woman. She has a good channel. She always has good topics and stuff. Um, she's been on this show a few times and stuff. We always had a good time. I always like doing a live with Loren. She's awesome and stuff. Uh, my wife, your wife must be precious. She is. My wife is awesome. I love my wife. I'm so proud of my wife. My wife is just, you know, I can't. You're biased too. Awesome. Black women, white men. Yeah, we have the most successful marriages. You know that? It's because we're strategic. It's because we have a plan. It's because we vet each other more than any other group, and we do it. We do it strategically. You know that's why our marriages last longer. And when it comes to, and get this, when you compare, you know, I'm gonna use names. When you compare Brad and Keisha to Tyrone and Becky, Brad and Keisha have a 40% more success rate when it comes to marriage. Do you know that? 40% less likely to divorce. You know, and that's in the stats. And you can see it out. You can see it out in society. Look around. You know, when it comes to black women and white men, our marriages last long. You know, 40. Yeah, that's right, Michael. 40% less likely to divorce than white women and white men. So we're even more successful than two white people. Let that sink in. We're more success. So you know what? Actually, if I was a young white guy and I was to choose, you know, a woman to marry, I'd have a better success rate with a black woman than white woman. So I have a better chance of success marrying a black woman than a white woman. And that's true. And it's shown in my family. I mean, I've been married 27 years, and you know what? So many people said it wouldn't last, huh? You know, and I love talking about that. You know, God forgive me, but when people what they said about me and my wife's marriage, and then looking back years later, I just want to spike the ball and just say, "Hey, what do you think about us now? What do you think about our marriage now? Huh? It wouldn't last." I don't know. It makes you feel good when your marriage works, it lasts, you know. But God poured out a blessing when He gave me my wife. You know, black women, white men couples are the best. They are the best, no doubt. They are shy in public, but you are right. If a white man approaches you in person, he generally is interested. Yeah, you know what? White men approaching black women were more reserved, were more hesitant. And it's not that, and it's because of the stereotypes and the stigmas and you know, and I've heard other men tell me this, that they kind of hesitate because, well, I don't want her to think I'm fetishizing her. I don't want to think it's a lustful thing. I don't want her to think I don't want to offend her. I don't, and that runs through our heads when we're, you know, trying to approach black women. A lot of us, and you know, um men have told me that they hesitate because of that. Or they want, if they're approached, they want to say all the right things. They don't want to say nothing wrong, nothing. Um, and you should be like that way for a bit, but you got to approach and you got to just, you got to be forward and just tell her what's on your mind, and but be respectful, come with love and respect, and you can't go wrong. And if she still thinks you're a weirdo, well, that's her problem. Go to the next one. But you gotta make your move. You gotta risk rejection. You're going to get it, and especially when you're interracially dating, because there are black women that will turn you down because of stuff they heard and they think you're a certain way, or they might just reject you because they're scared. They might be interested in you, but they're scared to have a relationship with you because maybe of what their friends and family think of it. Maybe because they think your intent's not genuine. I mean, there's so many things. Um, Approach and be real, yeah. And you know what, guys? Those of you men watching, you're interested in a black woman, approach her. And black women have told me that I've gotten emails. I've seen it in the comment sections that they say, "Well, this white guy I'm interested in, and we have a good talk, and it seems good, but he don't do nothing. He don't do. He won't approach me. He won't. It's like he's hesitating. Does he just want to be my friend? Is he just a nice guy, or is he interested? That's where a lot of the confusion goes in. So, I mean, it couldn't hurt to just make your move, approach, tell her what you think, and she might say, you know what? She might be interested, or she might tell you, you know what? I just want to be your friend. Then you know. But a lot of times there's confusion there. Black women think you're not interested because you're not doing nothing. And a lot of times it takes more than just, giving her the eye and smiling. You gotta, and there's a cultural difference. A lot of black men are more forward than white men. They just are. And sometimes black women get confused. They think you're just not interested in them, or you're just a nice guy that likes to say hello. So sometimes you just got to be forward. Tell her, I'm interested in you. Can we go out sometime? I think you're beautiful. I think you're awesome. You can say stuff like that. Just don't go up to her and say, you know what, you got a banging body and I think you're fine. No, just tell her she's beautiful and, tell her you're interested in her. But a lot of times there's hesitation. And don't be afraid of rejection. Rejection's part of life. Rejection is a good thing. We don't like it. None of us do, but it's a good thing. I look back on, some of the girls I wanted to date back in the day that wouldn't give me the time of day, and then I look at their lives now and I'm like, thank God she rejected me. It hurt at the time. She hurt my feelings, but dang, thank God she kicked me to the curb because, ooh, you never know. Sometimes rejection's a blessing. And then I look at it, I wouldn't have met my wife. I might not have met my wife if she would have. So, I mean, you got to risk it. You're going to get your feelings hurt. You're going to get rejected. It's going to happen. But in the end, it's all worth it. Because when you find that woman that loves you and that, you know, that welcomes you with open arms, oh man, it's a blessing. It's good. It's awesome. It's all worth it in the end. It really is. But let me go ahead and clear this out here. Okay. So we've been on over an hour. If a man is too shy to speak to me in person, how can I ever expect you to collect the courage to get down on one knee? Yeah, good point, J10. And here's the deal, guys. And I'm talking to men. Here's the deal. If you don't have the courage to approach the woman, if you're afraid of rejection, you don't deserve her. You just got to go for it, and she, how can she, I guess she could make the move if you're too shy, but then will she really respect you? You know what? You know what women respect is that you have the courage to go up and talk to them and be honest. And when I approached my wife, I was nervous. I was afraid she's going to reject me, sure. But you know what? And I was stuttering when I was talking to her. I was just so nervous. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm looking stupid here. She's not going to be interested." All this negative stuff going through my head. And you know what? She was interested. And I talked to her about that every now and then. I said, "What did you think of me? When I was approaching you, I was nervous. I kind of stuttered." And she said, "Well, it was real." You know, she said, "I didn't have to understand what you're saying. I could see it in your eyes. I could feel it." She knew I was interested in her. She knows, you know, people can read that. They can feel it. And it's a lot of times it's not what you say. It's just that you're there. It's what your heart's saying more than what your words are saying. You know, Sometimes you don't have to have the smoothest words. Sometimes you can stutter and, be nervous and shaking and, it's real. My wife knew I was interested in her. She knew I had love for her when I approached her. She could feel it. She might not have understood everything I said because I was so nervous, but she liked it. She talks about it all the time. She said it was a beautiful thing. And I looked at it like it was a disaster because I was a babbling idiot. But, I took that step. I approached her. And you know what? I have a good wife. I have an awesome wife. Been married for several years. We got a family together. We're living a good life. You've been called a race traitor? Yeah, and here's the thing. I hate when people do that. And here's my thing on that. I don't think we should be race loyal. I think we should be loyal to people that love us, not to people that look like us. I think we need to be loyal to the ones that show us love, whether it be men or women. I think we should go for the ones that love us, that have, our best interest in mind. You know, I get a raised eyebrow and the blushing a lot from white men. Yeah, and and they're admiring you, and they blush because they see that you might see them looking at you, and they're interested. Um, a lot of times when white men stare at you, ladies, um, it's not always a creepy thing. They're not sitting there lusting after. Well, they might, but most of the time they're admiring you. They think you're beautiful, and I know when I would do that stare that we talk about, it's because I thought, man, she's beautiful. I wonder if she would, if I'd have a chance, if I could talk to her. I wonder what she would think. And I did that one time. I was in college class. And this was after I graduated high school, and there was this black woman in the class, and man, I thought she was so beautiful. And I'd be sitting in class, and she'd walk by, and I would just look at her, and I was just admiring her. I wasn't lusting after her. I just thought, man, she's beautiful. She's awesome. And I would look at her, and then I would try to make it nonchalant so she wouldn't notice I was looking at her, okay? And she caught my eye, and she walked up to me like she was mad, and she asked me, "Do you have a problem?" I'm like, "No." And she was like, "Why are you sitting there giving me dirty looks?" And I mean, she just was direct and put me on the spot. I was like, uh, and I had to be honest. I was like, "I'm sorry, I wasn't giving you dirty looks. I just think you're beautiful, and I was just admiring you. I'm sorry." I had to be honest. And you know what? We went on a date that night. So, I mean, it kind of worked out that way. I was put on the spot, but it was a good thing. Um, but she thought I was giving her dirty looks. She thought, and the psychological thing behind it, I wasn't giving her dirty looks. I was just admiring her. I thought she was beautiful. But it was a neat thing that she put me on the spot, and I had to tell her what I really thought. And she went from being mad to having a smile, and you know, what's that for black women staring isn't a good thing. Well, yeah, I would say if you're just staring, that's not. But I mean, we all do it. I mean, you see a beautiful woman, and if you're a single guy, you might admire her and think she's beautiful, and you got to look at her. I mean, but I think you got to make your approach if um because if you're just staring and not doing nothing, she might think that's creepy. Um, like that woman, she didn't think it's creepy. She thought I was just giving her dirty looks. That you know, yeah, I think that's right. And you know what? I've been caught staring at. I've stared at black women because, and I want to hit on what J10's saying. Like fascination. You know, I always thought black women with braided hair was neat. I always thought that was a beautiful hairstyle. I always thought, and I talked about it on my other live about black women, how they'd wear braids and beads and stuff. And I thought that was neat. I was fascinated by that. I thought that was, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. They got their own style, and I didn't see that on other women. So I was, I would stare at that or look at that because I was fascinated by that. That's awesome. Um, so I mean, staring can be interpreted so many ways. I mean, but I wouldn't recommend just sitting back and staring at women. I mean, I would say if you're going to stare at them, approach them. Let them know what your intent is. And then they won't think you're so weird. They just know you're interested in them. And how you approach, if you're respectful, that can go a long way. Always thought black women knew everything. Yeah. But anyway, let me see here. I'm gonna put the link if you guys want to come on. I might close this show here soon. Um, hey, Corey's not here tonight. He's probably getting his nap. Mark's here. Hey, what time is it in the UK, Mark? Hey, check out his live Saturday. He's going to do with hashtag Black Woman. I'm going to tune into that. I'll be on the road, guys. I'm flying out to North Carolina tomorrow, and I'm going on a road trip with my son. So, white men are getting brave. The other day, okay, I'm going to put this up there. White men are getting brave. The other day, a white man at the gym told me I was beautiful, and they should. That's good. And ladies, I will tell you that white men are more interested than you than you even know. They've done studies, and you know what they found out? That white men were more willing to date black women than black women white men. Did you know that? Yes. And that is a true fact. But the tide is turning. And like Tony said, white men are getting brave. They are. And through my life I got a little brave. Once I got the courage to talk to a woman, it got a little easier. But of course, you're going to be nervous every time because you don't want rejection. You don't want to be turned down. But you know that it's a possibility. It's going to happen. But having the courage goes a long way. Hey, Corey, good to see you. Yeah, I was just talking about you. How's it going? How's it there in Portland or Oregon? You're not in Portland. I don't. How's it in Oregon over there? Is it warm? Is it cold? It's cold where I'm at right now. We got that snowstorm that came through and it's all melted, but it's still cold. But 30 degrees is cold to me. Hey, nothing wrong with the creamer in the coffee. Oh, hey, I want to hit on something, guys. You got a couple of you guys sent an email and asking me if you could donate and stuff. And what I'll say to that is you don't need to donate to my channel. Okay. I do this as a hobby. This ain't my job. I love doing this. And what I would say, I don't ask people for donations and stuff. I really don't. I want this channel to be pure. I want it to be, an organic thing, something that, um, we come together. We have the same ideas, the thoughts, and, what all I would ask is you guys, give me a like every now and then, pray for me, and show me love. That's all I want. I But I do appreciate you guys asking that. Followers are loyal. That's sweet, J10. Yeah, and you know what? I'm loyal to you guys too. And that's what I want the channel to be about. I want it to be a blessing to you guys. Um, and that's what I wanted to do with this channel. I wanted to share my life story, my marriage, my family life. I wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to share, my feelings and love and respect for black women. Um, so many times people are tearing down black women, and I want to show love and I want to show, the truth about black women and the amazing things you guys do and how loving you guys are. And that's what I want the channel to be about. And I do prayer meetings and I talk about God, and I like to have some spirituality in this too. And you know, but what I feed off is your guys' love, your prayers. You guys saying kind words, give me thumbs up every now and then. I love that, and I feed off that. And but I don't need nothing. Don't you know? All I need is your love and prayers. And I got all the equipment and all this stuff to do this stuff, but it's a hobby to me. God's blessed me with a good job, and me and my wife do very well. And this is just something I love to do. This is something I want to do to give you guys a blessing. This is something I want to do to uplift you. And you know, but I just wanted to put that out there. Black women are very stylish. Oh yeah. You know what? I don't think any woman dresses nicer or has a better look than black women. You know, when black women get dressed up and they put it together, they do it nicely. They really do. Um, and that's what makes black women unique. You guys, you know, from your hairstyles, and I've said this. I love black women's hairstyles. I just they're different. They're unique. Um, I like how black women dress up, the professional way they carry themselves, and you know, nobody does it like black women. They just don't. Uh, anyway, let me put the link if you guys want to come up before I shut down. I might have to shut down soon, guys. I gotta get a little bit of sleep. I got a big flight tomorrow. Um, when I get to the hotel later on that night, I might go live or something. Uh, okay, there's a link if you want to come up. I'll give it a few minutes. Um, oh, did you guys catch Miss Anita's show today? She had a cup of Joe on there tonight. She, it was a good show. I was at work when she was doing the live stream, but she had Joe and Justin on there. It was a really good live, and I was listening to it at work. I couldn't watch it because I was working, but I put in a couple comments, and it was a nice show. So if you guys haven't seen it, go to Miss Anita's channel. Yours truly, Miss Anita. Check out her channel. Um, she's new at the YouTube thing, and she's got nice content. And she had Cup of Joe on tonight. Him and Justin. It was a real good show. I listened to it. The topics they talked about were nice, and it was really a good show. I enjoyed listening to it while I was at work. It helped my work day go by, and you know, it was really nice. So check her out. Show her some love. Show Mark Bavin. Show him some love. He's starting out his channel, and check him out. And he's got a nice channel going. So and also check out Loren's channel. Hashtag Black Woman. Check her out. She has good content. Um, who are some other good channel? Mocha Mommy. Check out her. Call Me Coca. That's another good one. Um, you know, check out Lexus Exodus. You guys know her. I mean, she's real big. Um, check out those channels. Got some good channels out there. And what's her channel? Uh, yours truly, Miss Anita. Let me see. I'll put it in the comment section. Let me look it up so I spell it out the right way so you guys can find it. Okay. I'm just looking it up real quick, guys. I got so many channels I subscribe to. You guys ever do that? I got like hundreds of channels. I mean, I'll find some content I like and just subscribe. Uh, and I don't have the heart to unsubscribe, even though I don't watch the channels. I'm like, because I know how I am. Sometimes I'll watch the subscriber count and I'll lose a couple and be, oh my god, I lost some people. And then when a few subscribe, I get all happy and stuff. But let me get her channel up there. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm typing up the channel here. Oh, it did. Sorry. Okay, guys, I'm just putting this in real quick. Okay, what happened? Gosh, dang it. I put it. Oh my god, guys. I put it in the dang private chat. Okay. Okay, there it is. Sorry, guys. Okay, yours truly, Miss Anita. Check out her channel. She had Cup of Joe on tonight. Him and Justin were on, and it was a good show. I listened to it. Check it out. Mark, put your channel in the comments so people can see it. Anita's channel. Yeah, check her out her channel. She's just starting out, and Miss Anita, she's an awesome lady. Um, she's family orientated. She always talks about her son and grandkids, and she's real nice, and she has good content on her show. Um, and I've been on there a couple times, and so has Cup of Joe and stuff. But check her out, show her some love, give her a thumbs up, and drop her a nice comment. Uh, oh, thanks, Lisa. I appreciate that. Okay, but anyway, check out that. But anyway, guy, Mark Bavin. Okay, that's Mark's channel. Check him out. It's just Mark Bavin, and he's just starting out also. So show him some love. Check out his channel. And Lisa, you got a channel too. Check her out. She's got a nice channel. Lisa, I'm going to put you up there so people can check out your channel. Because I was going through and I looked up your channel, and it's a positive channel. It's nice. So Lisa Soul Level Healing, check out her channel. Um, if you guys have a channel, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Let people know. Because a lot of times I've looked through comment sections and I found awesome channels through that. So if you guys want to advertise your channel on my comment section, you're more than welcome to do so. Oh, thanks, Tony. That's awesome. Uh, grateful for you. Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna have Sandy on Valentine's Day. We're going to do a Valentine's Day special. Me and my wife, Sandy. Oh, you want to hop on? All right. Let me put the link up here. I'll put the link up if you guys want to hop on or anything. All right. I'll leave it up there for a minute if you guys want to hop on. Am I excited about the trip? Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna fly out tomorrow in the morning. Um, I'll be flying out. Well, I have to get a connecting flight in Dallas, so I'll fly from here to Dallas, and then Raleigh, North Carolina, and then I'm going to spend the night there, and then my son's going to pick me up, and we're going to ride home together, and we're going to have a road trip. We're going to have a good time, and then I'll get to see my daughter in Kansas City too. So we're going to have a good trip. Uh, oh, encourage. Yeah, I'll leave it up here for a little bit if you guys want to jump on. And if not, that's fine too. Yeah, J10 encourages people to jump on. Yeah, but the link's up there. So if you want to jump on, I need a road trip. I really do. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be fun. And oh, here we go. Hey, hello, Lisa.
Hi, Brent.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm so good.
Oh, that's good. It's good to see you. I checked out your channel. I noticed you got a channel. It's a nice channel. And you hear me? Okay. Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out how I can talk to you on my phone without.
Oh, okay. You might be on it might be like double feeding. You might be on YouTube and StreamYards. You know what I mean? Because I've done that. I get like an echo sometimes. Like I'll be on both, and it's like the microphone keeps feeding in. But I don't know. Maybe it'll fix itself. But anyway, it's good to have you on the.
Oh, yeah, I did. I had YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've done that before. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting me jump on. I have been watching you since you started.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and I love it because you offer a perspective that, as much as us women want to talk about it, you're just going to offer a different perspective as a married man, as a long-term married man, as a white man who's married Black, and all of the social constructs that went into it. And so it's really nice that you put yourself out there, because I feel your voice is needed, because it really cuts through a lot of the toxicity that can surround dating interracially. Right? All the things of like, oh, well, they're not going to like you, and da 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 da. And as much
Yeah.
as a woman says, trust, it's okay, like it's fine, like you don't need every like man in the diaspora to like, you don't need every Caucasian or Hispanic guy to like you to date out. You just need the ones who are into it. But as much as I say that as a woman, it's just going to be more coming from, your mouth about like,
Yeah.
yo, what are you talking about? This is fine. It's not that big a deal. This is what we see, and this is what we're into.
Yeah, and the thing of it is when I speak about these things, I'm getting some kind of echo back in. Yeah, I like to when I speak about these things, interracial dating and marriage, and having a preference, um, I like to speak the truth and tell how I really feel. And there's so much stereotypes and so many generalizations, and you know and I found beauty in black women. I found so many awesome qualities of about black women, and I share that with people, and that's been my whole life. I've been attracted to black women ever since I started dating or even thinking about women. And I like to tell my story because you can date out, and you know there's black women out there that think we don't like them, and it's crazy. And I've seen so many beautiful black women that will believe this lie.
Right.
And truth be told, um yes, we are interested in you. And I've been interested in nothing but black women my whole life. And my wife is black, and we've been married over 27 years. So people don't believe me until they see the evidence sometime.
Yeah, and I jumped on because Jen in the chat asked for interesting dating stories. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm dating, quite a bit right now. And I wanted to share, what I found. So I just wanted to say for everyone out there, even I will say this. I grew up on the West Coast, so it's a little bit more liberal, a little bit more open than on the East Coast and the South. So I will say that influences everything. But I will say, even when I felt I wasn't that attractive, because we all have those times and those moments, I
Mhm.
still had men outside of my race approach me. And I want you guys to hear that because you can have all the hangups you want, but men are still like, yeah, I mean, fine for me. I don't need perfection. And I think that's just something that even my own self, we have to get out of our heads. But if there's any women out there who has doubts about it, sometimes you can feel your most unattractive. But if your energy is open-minded, and I think it's all about just being receptive and open to it, you will find that even when you don't feel good, there can be someone that comes up and they're just like, you're perfect to me even if you don't feel you are to yourself. So I think that's something that it's hard for women to wrap their heads around, but it's something to keep in mind. And we've all had that moments when we didn't feel our best, but other people were telling us, well, to me, you're perfect in my eyes. And I think when it comes to interracial dating, it's something to keep in mind. Um, and
Yeah, and you know, yeah, and I think it's just stuff we've been told, and it's you know stereotypes, and it's been I'm sorry, I keep getting your I keep getting feedback. Are you hearing that on your end?
I don't hear feedback, but when you talk, I put the mic on mute, and I think that helps.
Oh yeah, yeah, because um gosh, what was I saying? Yeah, I think what it is there's like a barrier that we've been told things for so long that we believe them. And I haven't heard many white men say that black women aren't attractive, or that they wouldn't be interested in dating them. Or a lot of times men of different races, a lot of white men that might not date black women because they're not really around them that much, or they might not even think about it because it's not in the norm. But there are a lot of men out there that are interested in dating black women that want to have relationships. And I know this because a lot of them will approach me because they see my wife. And I've had like younger guys talk to me about it. Well, what did you say to your wife? How do you know, trying to get, wanting me to give them advice and stuff. And people don't see this, but I see it all the time. And it's like you know, and I've heard women tell me they like one lady told me, she says, "Well, you're saying that white men are coming for us, that they're interested, but I just don't see it. But if you look at the stats, it's growing." But other women say that white men approach them all the time. So
I got something to say about that. So I
yeah,
jumped up an interesting dating story. So I'll just go ahead and share what I've been going through. I've been dating for
okay.
about a year and a half. And this is what I see. So I pretty much I have been dating white men and a few Hispanic men. It just means who comes up. And there's part of it is just I get approached a lot more probably than some others. Not it's not necessarily looks. It's I will say it's my openness and receptivity. So I sort of approach men and life in general as just being open to everyone, and people can feed into that energy. I'm not closed off. So if you're an old 72-year-old Caucasian guy or like even a 21-year-old Hispanic guy, you I'll flirt with you just for fun, right? It's nothing serious. It's very
Yeah,
lighthearted, but I'm open to you talking to me. I'm not going to shut you down. And people can sense that energy. And then I'm on dating profiles. And I mean, my profiles sort of talk to the men who match me. Like, I am a prepper. I have a prepper group, which is like you're into preparedness. I'm converting a van into like a camper van. And so, there's all these things I do that sort of like I have my favorite shows on and all these things. So I sort of talk to the different people. So I'm just really open. And even on the dating apps, if I match with someone, I especially if they're white, I'll say hi first. Now I don't chase anybody, but definitely because I know that some white guys will see a match, but they really aren't sure if I'm
yeah,
like really into it, if I just matched just because I swiped right and I wasn't really thinking. So what I do is I say hi, and pretty much one out of every third person, like if I do hi, they'll follow up and then take the lead. But there's definitely leaving yourself open to it. And I just understand and know because about half the guys that I actually initiate conversation with will go, so do you date white guys? Have you dated a white? Have you dated white guys my age? And they're not saying it any other way than, and then they'll tell me, I'm like, oh yeah, usually no one asks me. Well, some do, like 2/3 don't, 1/3 do. And they're like, yeah, well, they usually don't date us. So I'm like, da 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 da. And I will be honest, like I am conservative. I do things that are a little bit more leaning towards the conservative end of things. So I attract people in that audience, right?
yeah,
But yeah, so they do definitely ask that. But I know that that's part of this. I know that not everyone's quite sure. So I make sure I do my inviting, which is like my simple hi with a smiley face. And as far as interesting dating stories, I will say, just because they're Caucasian and they don't have some of the issues we have in our community, I still have to vet pretty heavily. So,
mhm,
I know my tactics. I will talk about a few things early. What's been working for me is just asking pretty upfront is, after we sort of have our little banter and we get comfortable, do you mind if I ask compatibility questions? And I ask like three, like, are you looking for something casual or serious? Are you, do you want more children in the future? And another interesting thing I would say the women can do is ask about how do you feel about traditional gender roles? Because that's a really fun conversation and it really takes everything a lot deeper. I've noticed that the men are like, I mean, they're like, oh my God, what? I got to talk to you on the phone. I can't just say this over text. So
yeah,
it's a very deep subject. It's sort of like one of those things that could be a little awkward, but if you have the conversation, you're glad you have it. But that's been really interesting to see the men that I've been matching with. And a lot of them are just like, yeah, I take the lead, but I don't want to be a dictator and tell them what to do. But it definitely takes both. And just, and I have my own views of it. I think the man should provide and provision and protect at all costs, house,
yeah,
children, home. And then I say for the female role, my role is to bring harmony, beauty, and romance, right? Harmony in
mhm,
relationships, emotional stability, emotional intelligence, respect for everyone so that you can keep it, beauty, not only in myself, but in our surroundings, and romance, like keeping it flirty and fun. Like, I think, that's what I feel comfortable sitting in. And it's a really interesting conversation. And I find that, like, when you ask that sort of deeper conversation, it really cuts through a lot. And the men tend to see you, and they tend to see your emotional intelligence. They tend to see like you a little deeper. So that's been a very interesting sort of thing that I use to sort of cut through a lot of red tape and get to the heart. And I'm asking this to see if they're the kind of guy I want. I don't care what your color is. I have my standards in what I'm looking for, and they're really specific. But that's been sort of fun. That, and I just wanted to say, hey, there's a lot of Dusties in all categories. So I would say, so I am pretty much about 80% of the men who I match with. We're not getting too far into it, but the dust is there, and just the same games that go on in our community, it goes on in theirs. But I find that in this community, it's a little bit more upfront, and they have a little bit more of a heart. like they're still trying to get the same thing, but like they're not gonna like. If I'm just being really honest, like they'll be upfront about it. Oh, I'm not ready for a relationship, but maybe we could just hook up. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for that. I mean, but they're chivalrous about it. They're gentlemen about it. So I at least give them credit for that. But
Yeah.
yeah, you still have to vet. And I suggest you vet up front to not waste time. I'm a business owner. I'm a single mom. I have a ton of projects. I just don't have time. I'm not a single. I mean, I have a daughter I take care of during the school week. Then I split custody with my ex-husband, but I just don't have time. So I recommend just like saying it all up front, making your profile talk to the interests of the men that you like. If they're into certain things or not, or if they're in a certain community, sort of speaking to that, but also just vetting heavily. But yeah, talking about the gender roles, I do find this might sound a little funny, but I find that white men love talking about it, even though it's a sensitive subject. They appreciate it being brought up because they're all brought up pretty differently, but there is like the same thing. And they're going through their own, I'm finding they're going through their own thing, which I consistently see them say, well, we have to do it, but I don't want to be like a douche about it. Like, I don't want to do that. And I take that as, okay, they learned a patriarchal way of doing things, but they're also learning that they have to be sensitive to the needs of their wives. And I appreciate that everyone I talk to, they're really trying to not be so bullheaded and listen more. And that comes out in the conversation. And I appreciate the effort I see on their part to accommodate their women, because I don't necessarily see that in our community. Like, every guy I talk to is just like, yeah, well, I don't want to be this and not listen or take your needs into advance. But I do feel that I should be the head of the household and I should lead. So that's been really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? That's smart how you were saying how you talk to them and you get to know what they're about. And I will say this, just talking to you here, and I've seen some of your videos that I could see how men would gravitate to you because of the positivity and the personality and stuff. And I would say kind of what you're doing with the dating thing, and I've told women this that because I heard this from like a dating coach type guy, and it wasn't the Kevin Samuels guy. This guy was a little more professional and stuff, and he told ladies that he was talking interracially. He was talking about how they need to drop the neckerchief, to kind of like when back in the day when men would court women, they drop a neckerchief so the men would know that they're ready to be courted, and they'd compete for the affection of the young lady, and I think you kind of do that with your positivity, and that's a big thing that people gravitate to positivity. Um, People want to be around you because it feels it's like when women have a positive outlook, it's like you're approachable. It's like I don't know. I
Yeah.
know I know for me, when I was dating a woman that was positive, whether she's interested in me or not, I would want to be with her or talk to her or want to get to know her. And it seemed easier to do that with the positive than someone that's, has a different attitude. You know what I mean?
I
I
do.
think
I actually have one story about that. So,
okay.
so I go out. So with COVID, I actually go out by myself a lot, which
Uh-huh.
FYI, I think all women should try that. Just get dressed up. It makes a difference if you're dressed up. If you go
Yeah.
out by yourself and you're dressed up, it's different than if you don't dress up. So take the time, get your makeup on, beat the face, put on a dress, put on a heel, do something that you think is really nice. And I do that. And I go out. And it's funny, and I have a great time because I go to my thing, but I'm pretty open to receive like just different people, and people can really sense that, and they gravitate towards it. But on top of that, sometimes I tell my friends I'm going and how much fun I'm having, and they're like, "Oh, I want to come." And it's funny because I sort of know I sort of have to lay it down for them. You can come with me, but you got to do a few things. You got to get dressed up. You got to put on makeup, wear your heels, and you need to be open and welcoming to everyone. And they look at me a little crazy. I'm like, everyone. I don't care who they are, what they look like. You are happy to smile at everyone. It doesn't matter their color, race, or age. If they want to come talk to you, you have an open, friendly, flirty demeanor. And it's funny when I add that extra, they look at me and it's like, what? Open to everyone? Yeah, you can't just look there with the stank attitude. That's not my energy. And if you come
Yeah.
with, you can't dim that. I am very open to everyone around. And it's funny because that's the thing that attracts what you want. But it's funny, I tell them that, and that's the hard part. And I'm like, I know it can be challenging going to a new place, and you sort of want to close off because you're like, oh, I can't put myself out there and just being happy and open. Like, what if someone shuts me down? And I know that's a fear, but if you hang with me, you got to release that. So,
Yeah.
but I have to tell them that because they're so not used to just walking in, looking good, but not only looking good, going, whoever wants to say hi to me, even if they're attractive or unattractive, you give them the same courtesy as anyone. But what happens towards the end of the night, you start attracting the people you want because they saw how you interacted with everyone else, for the last 30 minutes to an hour. They feel super confident coming up to you. And since I started doing that, that's the first time that I really had, like, pretty consistently men will approach and ask for the numbers. Now, it might not be anyone I'm interested in because I'm picky,
Yeah.
but it's the fact that I came and I'm open to everyone. People are watching that, right? And
Yeah.
honestly, all that people want, and I'm just going to say this on Brent's channel, it does sound a little crazy, but it's true. Like, all anyone wants in this world is an open, friendly, receptive Black woman to accept everyone and like be that gracious person who can and not approach them with distrust. I will say I go to certain areas. I go to places that I feel safe doing that in, some strategic, but
Yeah.
everyone wants that. They want that open, pretty woman who owns it, but is smiling and gracious to every single person in the room. And it takes a little bit of time to get there, but I do say if you get to that point, everyone will be so comfortable approaching you. And I'm talking both men and women will call and get my number. The women want to hang out, and the men would like to find out if they can take me on a date. And
Yep.
like I said, I have my pre-screening questions. So if you don't pass that, like, it's not happening. But yeah, I would say that's sort of been an interesting aspect of dating interracially. And I'm not saying, I'm not married yet or anything, but I'm dating regularly. I'm meeting people regularly. People are asking me out on a date regularly. So, but I know it's all of that energy I'm bringing and those questions I bring, and just being strong enough to bring those questions, or being strong enough to go out by yourself, but still be open and receptive to everyone and expect and assume that everyone's going to reciprocate that with love. Right. And so they can really just see that. And so that's been really fun. But every woman can do it. It just takes some time to get to that level of ownership that you do bring that much light to the world.
Yeah, and I would say that's being confident and approachable, and we're all attracted to that. And I'll tell you a story. It a lot of times it's not all how you look. Of course, us as men are attracted to beautiful women, yes, but a lot of times it's how you carry yourself. And I'll give you an example. There was when I was like 16 years old, 16 or 17. In my town, we have an Air Force base, right? And I had a friend that lived on base, and we went through the gate, and there was this black woman, and she was in her fatigue, she was in her uniform, and she just had such a professional look. Everything was in place. It was like she was in charge. She was just making it happen. And I was so attracted to that woman. And, I'm a teenage kid and I wanted to talk to her. And, I wasn't going to get nowhere with a grown woman.
Right.
But I was so attracted, and I was like, oh my God, she's so fine. And my friend was like, man, she don't look that good. She don't, I don't know. But, and it wasn't that she was a knockout. It was just how she carried herself that, it attracted me to where it just seemed beautiful and just seemed awesome. And looking back, I've seen other women that dress professionally and just carry themselves and they're not the most beautiful women. They'd be average women, but how they carry themselves, they end up going from average to being fine, to where you want to be with them, you want to talk to them. Um, I it's kind of like what you're saying, like how you carry yourself, how you look, the how you project yourself
Yeah,
sometimes, and add some positivity to that, and oh my God.
yeah, it's not honestly like it's about looks, but it's not. But you can be pretty and no one approaches you.
Yeah, you absolutely can. There's been some very beautiful woman I won't even talk to because of the attitude, because of and a lot of times, very beautiful women, guys won't approach them. A lot of times, well, they might feel intimidated, like, hey, I ain't got a chance, so I'm not even going to try. There's sometimes guys won't approach beautiful women because they don't think they have a chance, or they're beautiful, but the attitude, you just think that,
Right. Well, it's that.
yeah,
Well, you can give off whatever energy you want, right? And
yeah,
the girls that so my friends who I tell about this, they're all attractive, but
hmm,
it's going from being attractive to being open to everyone.
hmm,
That's the harder part for, I think, a lot of women to do until they get that confidence about it. So you got to practice a
yeah,
little bit. But it's that, oh my gosh, you're very beautiful and you smiled at the guy who opened the door. You gave a huge smile to the waitress. The guy, next to your table, you like waved to and nodded. And all of those things aren't necessarily huge things, but even if you're very beautiful or even if you're not a 10, but you dressed yourself up really well and
yeah,
very feminine and you took the time and effort and care to highlight what you do have well, you don't have to be a 10 for people to be like, I feel comfortable going up to them and just talking and seeing if we can be friends, right?
yeah,
And I did see in the chat that Jen asked a question on how do I reject men. So it's I do it with love, honestly. So it's rejecting, and I do a lot through the app. So if I ask screening questions and they say something, they're like, "Oh, I'm not trying to have more kids." I'm like, "Well, I am." I'll just go, "You know what? I am. We're not compatible," and I put, "That's fine. We're not compatible, and that's fine. I'm sure you're gonna find someone who's perfect for you." And I put a little
yeah,
hands and a heart. Like, okay, with love, bye. You're just not
yeah,
for me. And I don't have time to waste on people who aren't exactly what I know I want and I'm going to manifest. If it's over the phone or after I went on a date, I have talked, so I can talk to someone on the phone and within 5 to 10 minutes if like I'm romantically or like it's a no. And so
Yeah.
I've told people, I literally have texts right now where I'm like, you know what? I'm not really feeling this romantic connection at all, but I think you're cool as a friend if you wanted to do that. If you didn't, I'd understand that as well. Because honestly, I don't necessarily need more friends, right?
Yeah.
Really
I hear.
don't. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I do it with love. And if a guy approaches me in like public and asks for it, I have like a text app that has like a number. It's not my real number. It's like I'll just give him the text app number. Like it's not, it's not. I can block it easily. It's not my real number. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, like, so in person, I generally just take the number and like, if I'm not into it, I'll either literally tell them, I'm not really feeling this because of X, or just I'm not really feeling it, or but like over the app, I am pretty nice about it, and I just do that because, um, why do I do it? I just do it because why not? Like, I want them to know that I am not, just because we're not compatible does not mean I'm hurt, angry,
Yeah.
emotionally upset. I'm not. Like, we're just not a match. I'm going to find my match. You find yours. But I am not the kind of person to try to make a square fit into a circle peg, like a square peg fit in a hole. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I do it for that reason, just to let them know I'm cool with all of this. This is a surge and it's a marathon, not a race, right? So it's like I'm just taking my time and going through the process. So that's generally how I do it, Jen. That answers your questions.
Okay. I want to talk about rejection, and something you said, and I've said this on the channel. I said, when I was dating, and you know, black women are so nice about rejecting you, and y- and some guys are fear if they reject you, they're going to just embarrass you and make you look stupid. But actually, when it comes to black women, ones that weren't interested, they would reject you, but in such a nice way. It's like, you broke my heart, but thank you. I mean, it's, but yeah, but
They,
I just thought
seriously,
about, huh?
oh, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Um, there's a troll here. Let me get rid of this troll. But rejection, black women are nice about rejection, and and I've said this, and the reason I can appreciate it, and I think, is because my father kept me grounded. I never thought I was more than I was, or I was pretty humble most of my life, and I always, I would take rejection. Okay, well, she's just not interested, I'm not the right one, and I could look at it that way. And I thank God that my father kept me grounded, because some men will take rejection like they'll hate you or want to cuss you out, or and we've seen stuff on YouTube where some get violent, right? But
Right. And I find it's sort of funny when you send
yeah,
them away so nicely. Because I find out, I have my screener questions. You don't pass them, there's no point in me getting connected, right?
yeah,
Um,
that's right.
and I find that they like you more when you reject them nicely because they're like, "Are you sure?" Like,
Yeah,
I'm like, "Yes, babe." I'm sure. But yeah, and how everyone's so, especially when you're out in public, you guys, I think the women on here know, but I'm just highly aware they're all watching you, and
yeah,
I'm aware that they're watching. I am not nice to people to get a response. I'm doing it because I know it makes people feel good and I know I can do
yeah,
that. So I do it, right? You can change the environment. You can change the environment just by seeing people and acknowledging them. And and I say this, and I don't, even the homeless people, like I'm open and I can be receptive to them. Of course, do that to your own positivity level. If you've been watching my channel, I'm very spiritually aware and in tune. So I just don't walk with fear because I'm just so protected on the higher end, because I asked for that protection and I believe in it and I trust it because I've seen it. So I can be open to pretty much everyone without the fear that something bad might happen. I just don't walk in that energy, and because of my spiritual practice. And, I've seen my protection has come through over and over again. Like I know it's there. So I just don't have that fear. But yeah, being open to everyone is the key, and turning them down gently is also the key, and it just keeps everyone, even if you're rejecting them, they still love you, like, of course not true, they still love what you did. And it's
Yeah.
something that I think energetically just really fills you up with a lot of gratitude and a lot of good positive energy, and that positive energy that you garner from being that way and being able to be that way with confidence, it just really feeds itself and adds more of that energy to you, which helps you attract just even higher quality people who are also vibrating on that wavelength. So I just wanted to share, those are my dating stories.
Oh,
I am
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, um but I like your positivity. That is really awesome. And that does carry a long way. I mean, for women, men too. I mean, being positive, people gravitate to that. And of course, we want to be around people that are loving and positive, and have that good energy than people, upset or angry and stuff. Yeah, I mean that goes a long way. And you know, but you're right. And um, but yeah, I like your stories. And that's and ladies, what she's saying is so true. Women that carry themselves positively, men are. It's easier to approach them, even whether you got a chance or not. It is really easier um, than someone that's that's beautiful and knows it, that you probably won't even bother. But I've seen very beautiful women that are positive, and they just seem approachable. And I do believe that carries more success when it comes to dating, and you'll have more choices to where you could pick out the man that fits you. That's the best option for you. You know.
Yeah, and agreed. And before I jump off, I'll just say, anyone out there, my channel, I do focus on divine feminine energy, which is not just femininity, because you can be pretty all day but not have that
Yeah.
divine feminine energy, which is the energy that's been missing. A lot of you guys know because you've been called to it, but I just go deeper into it in the teachings, which gets you into that very self-empowered, very confident energy, and what it means to be open, receiving, receptive, and attractive, right? Which is a different way of getting what we want versus in the masculine energy in which everyone's been programmed, much to the detriment of this world, because our receptivity, our responding, our emotional intelligence, which is the divine feminine energy, that is what the world needs and is the counterbalance. So you're not in conflict, and it is harmony and beauty and romance, as I like to say. And it's been a journey for me, but now that I'm here, it's like, you can't move me. Like, I'm not going to get in conflict. I'm not going to get in an argument, because at the end of the day, you're a sovereign person. I'm sovereign. I take care of my happiness my way. You take care of your happiness. And it's just a level of empowerment that not only helps you to be a sovereign, happy individual, but it is very highly attractive to the opposite
Yes.
sex. They don't have that emotional stability in women like that. They don't have that feminine energy to help ground them out, to be open to receive, or just open to be welcoming and gracious. And yeah, so I talk about those things and sort of my experiences, and not just my guidance I've gotten from my higher sources that I'm connected to. So I'd love to share that with any of you guys who are interested. But I will say, from my own experience, it's very healing energy. It's emotional stability. And it's an energy that everyone in this world and on this planet has been waiting for. So I encourage all of you guys here with Brent to do it, because I do find that white and Hispanic men who tend to be a little bit more masculine than the men in our community, they respond like like, what is it, moth to a flame, all right? Because they're like, wow, I don't know what this is, but I like it, right? So I will say that doing that does make you a really attractive to very masculine men in their communities. And you don't have to do too much except be happy and be open to share that happiness with yourself,
Yeah.
even when you're just being casual. So I'll end with that. I hope that was helpful.
That was, and I would like to say too, and I think we need to go more back to our traditional roles where men are men, women are women, and a lot of times we lose that. Um,
Yeah.
but what I've gravitated towards black women a lot is a lot of black women are traditional, and I'm a traditional guy. I've been raised that way. I knew when I was a teenager I wanted to get married and have kids, and that was how I thought life is supposed to be, and that's how I lived my life. And I found that black women, you get in relationship, a lot of them are really traditional. They want that thing too. And we feed off each other with the masculinity and the femininity. It's like a man going to work, working hard, coming home, he's sore, but he's worked, he's done his, and then the wife greets you, and you know and I think women feed off men that work hard and that are providing. um and you don't have to be rich or have a lot of money, just the fact you're doing your job, you're providing, you're putting your wife and kids first. And and we need positivity in that. My wife, she'll tell me she appreciates me working and stuff. And, I always tell her she's beautiful and how much I love her. And I say it over and over and over. But you know what? It brings that positive energy to where, you still have that love for each other, and you still love each other, even like me and my wife are in our 50s. We still love each other like we did when we were in our 20s, when we first got married and stuff. And and I like to share that too. You can still, your marriage don't have to, be like an everyday, yeah, I don't know. It's You can still have that love and that affection for each other, whether you're in your 20s, 50s, or 70s. There's a couple that lives in my neighborhood. They're in their 70s, and they walk around holding hands, and they're in love, and they've been married for several years, and it's you know it's a beautiful thing to see. Elderly people like that don't have much time on earth, but they're happy and they love each other. And I think that's what it's all about. But anyway,
Agreed, Prince. Agreed. That is the goal. That is
yeah,
absolutely the goal. And it's waiting for all of us, even
yeah,
myself, as we go through this process.
exactly.
Thank you so much. I'll be just watching from the background like I usually do, but like I said, thank you for your voice. We needed
Oh,
your voice, and it's strong, and you're smart, and you're doing clever little things like your idea of like investment. And there's divestment. What about
yeah,
investment? I'm financially minded, so I'm like, ooh, now you're talking about language. I
yeah,
understand that. And that's just a clever thing we never thought about. But we needed someone from your position. You're like, well, that's what it is. And so that's why your voice, you're just going to come up with different unique things we don't think about because that's not our energy. That when you bring it up, it really just puts things in perspective in such a good light. So that is why I'm very happy you're doing this. And I hope, I know sometimes there's ups and downs, but I hope you have the strength. You have God on your side. So definitely whenever things get tough, you can return to that. So if things get a
yeah.
little tough, I hope that you'll have whatever you need to keep on enduring because your voice, I think, is going to be very, very interesting and strong one and what's taking place right now.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Correct.
Yeah, and I like to promote that word investment, because when you're marrying, you're investing your life into someone. And
Right.
it meshes with the divestment investment. You know, I don't know the total definition of divestment, but I think it's where women are divesting into, I don't know, opening up their options, um, leaving the old way of life into a new one, um, maybe even leaving the community. But with investment, we're not leaving, we're bringing, those of us that are in the black women, we're bringing them to us. Um, I don't know. That's the way I see it.
I love it. All right, I'll step down
All right.
now. Have fun, everyone, and thank you for your kind words.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. And everybody, check out Lisa's channel. It's really positive and stuff, uplifting, and check her out. Well, thank you, Lisa, for coming on. That was a good discussion, and and ladies, I would say, positivity goes so far. I mean, it really attracts us, and just how you ladies present yourself, and you know, black women, you have a way of doing things that is just so awesome, and we need Miss Anita, Jet, and Lisa on the panel. Yeah, that would be a good panel. Yeah, it sure would. Um, oh, you already subscribed to Lisa's channel? Yeah, I mean she's real positive, and I like the way she carries herself. Real positive, um, and she's right. I mean, projecting that positive energy. Us as men are attracted to that. We sure are. Um, you know, and she had a lot of good points, and it was nice having her on and stuff. Guys, I might have to close this down. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I gotta be at the airport at 8:30 tomorrow. I gotta fly out. So I'm gonna go ahead and close down and get ready for my flight. I'll be going. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I'll be going live. I'll try to go live tomorrow. See what time I get into North Carolina tomorrow. What time I get into Riley. So I'll probably do a live show from there, and then I'll start my trip. I might live stream, and where me and my son stop. Maybe we'll do a video or something. You need to prepare for the trip. Yeah, I do. I need to get to bed. Well, now I got to pack and then maybe get to bed. But I'll sleep on the flight. It's all good. Once I get to Riley, get in the hotel, and then later that night I'll do a little live stream, and then yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and just think about it. Open up your options, ladies. You can date any man you want, any race of man. Black women, you are the most beautiful you are, and I'm going to say it. And I'm not one of these lone wolf guys that like black women. There's a lot of us that do. Some ain't vocal like I am about it, but we're out there. And black women have had my heart since I was 5 years old and always will. And they're the only ones that broke my heart because they're the only ones that have access to it. Anyway, um, but I'm gonna go ahead and close this. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for your kind words. And do me a favor, guys. Give me a like on the way out. I appreciate that. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And next time I talk to you, I'll be in North Carolina, and I got some plans. I want to stream the trip. Hopefully, I can do like a live stream when we're on the road. Not while I'm driving. Don't worry. I know some of you are saying, "Don't do it while you're driving." I'm not going to do that. It'll be when it's his turn to drive. Um, but anyway, we're going to take a slow trip. We're going to have a good time. I think we'll hit Riley. We'll probably go into Nashville the first night, stay there. And if we have a real good time, we might stay an extra night. And then we'll go from Nashville to Kansas City and get to see my oldest daughter and my granddaughter, and my crazy son-in-law. And then probably stay a couple days there. And then we'll be coming to New Mexico, and but it'll be fun. But anyway, guys, thank you for coming in. Sorry it was such a late live. I worked a 12-hour shift today, and now I got to pack, and yeah, sometimes I just don't sleep. But oh well. But good night, everybody. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Um, I do. I really do. And you guys motivate me to come on and do these videos and express how I feel with my heart. And you know, and Valentine's Day, me and Sandy are going to come on and we're going to have a special show. So tune into that. I'll open up the panel if you guys want to come on and talk to us. You can ask me and my wife questions about, our relationship, when we were dating and, years through the marriage and stuff. And you know, I'll leave that open and we'll have a good time. And it'd be nice to get Sandy on here. And I know you guys love it when I bring Sandy on, and I love having her on. And I'm trying to get her to come on more and stuff. But anyway, though, um, but you guys, I love you guys. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate each and every one of you, and I appreciate your kind words. And I hope that I can, you know, give you guys a blessing. I hope that I can uplift you, and you know. But anyway, I love you guys. Good night, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good night. God bless you and your families, and I'll see you tomorrow night.